Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. Can you believe that it is the last day of March already? Already. Easter is next Sunday, not in a couple of days, next Sunday. You could hear the train going by. Oh my goodness. Wow, the time is going so fast. And tomorrow is April 1st, April Fool's Day, and there's so much going on for the month of April. I'm so excited. And even though today we're not exactly going to be cooking, but this is something important, get your grown up because you're going to want to show them this. We are going to decorate. We're going to decorate a little bit. We're going to do some decorating. And all we're going to need is some paper, some tape, a little bit of glue stick, and some scissors. That's it. So we are going to decorate and get ready for Easter. So cooking fun with Mrs. Cubbage starts now. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. As I said, we are going to get ready for Easter, and our younger friends or smaller friends can help by making flowers. That's right, because it's now spring and it's going to be planting time and the flowers are going to begin to bloom really soon. Today, here in Pittsburgh, we have a lot of rain happening, kind of scattered showers and, kind of gloomy. It looks a little bit, but, it's Easter time. It's Lent. It's the Lenten season. So I thought, since I've been working with my students for the past, believe it or not, about 2 weeks on flowers, and I've even, my coworkers where I work have been rather impressed with the flowers. So we've just been running with it. So I'm going to show you some flowers that we made. This is supposed to look like a hyacinth. And believe it or not, this is so simple to do at every age level. Very, very simple. It's 1.5 pieces of paper and some tape. That's it. And then this one, it's a little more difficult, just a little bit, but not that much, just the way that you wrap it. It's a little more difficult than the first, but it's not that bad. And then the last one here is exactly like this one. You just add a second color. That's it. So let's get started, shall we? All right. Well, as I said, the first thing you need is some spring-like colors of construction paper. So this is really your main ingredient, so to speak. All right. Some tape, Scotch tape, if you could get it, a glue stick, and scissors. That's it. All right, so this is what we're going to do. I've been making these flowers for a few years now, and I have, when I first learned how to make them, I would use a whole sheet of green. Then I thought, that's a bit wasteful. And the children, they just love making them, right? I'm surprised how many children over the years have enjoyed making them. So it could be a little difficult for them to roll the stems, But this is the crazy part. They just want more and more, and they want to make more, and they want to make more. So I decided, because there were so many of them and they wanted to make so many more, that I decided to save on paper and do this. That's it. Cut it in half, and you will keep your children extremely busy. Okay? So I'm going to show you how to roll. Hopefully you can see it. Let's see. There you go. What you do is you take an edge, the edge closest to you. You literally just roll it up. Now, I've tried this with pencils and other things, but believe it or not, the children have said that it is a little easier to just kind of roll it this way. And sometimes, because they just want to move so fast, these little bodies are just moving so fast, they just have a hard time even processing it sometimes. So maybe it'll be a little better for you to make it. All right, so you have your rolled piece. The good thing about this project is that you can always start at the beginning. So if it rolls out, you could start at another corner or the same corner, and you get this. Now, for the hyacinth look, okay, you're going to want to fold your paper long ways. Now, the children, I've been trying to fold it like a book, all right? You can do it. I've been trying to come up with some flowers-ish that kind of look like flowers, just so we're not wasting so much paper. But long ways is the way to go. Now, we have our paper long ways. You want to cut on the folded edge, okay? So I'm going to cut on the folded edge, and at about, I would say about an inch to the top, so you see that, and about an inch wide. And you could just kind of eye it, guide your young person. Young people, please listen to the grown-up, because when we listen to directions, that's how things get done. Just be very careful when you cut it, because you don't want to cut all the way to the top, because you're going to cut pieces off, okay? Then you take your stem, you put it at an angle. Put your stem at an angle, and then you get your tape again. This is what I love about this, because you could use the tape. So you just put it at an angle, tape it to the top part of the stem if it wants to hold on. And then all you need to do is wrap it. I'm going to move this camera up a little bit so we can see this a little better. All right. So all we're going to do is wrap. Just roll it around and roll it downwards. Down to make the hyacinth. Down, 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 down. And as you could see, the little flower part begins to open up as you go down the flower. Now, again, get your piece of tape, tape it to the bottom. You could also add some leaves if you want to this end, but usually by this point, once the children see that it has already come together, they're not really interested in the extras. Just my opinion, just my experience with the children. They're done. They're done. They just want this. So this is the first one. And the next one, as I said, which is much like the third one, you're going to, believe it or not, do the same, except I'm going to fold and when we cut, because again, we're going to cut from the folded edge, we're going to cut thinner cuts. So maybe about, I guess that's about 1 centimeter, I guess. And again, up to about 1 inch of the paper. I've learned that the thinner you cut it, believe it or not, the prettier it looks. But for your first one, you could just go with those measurements that I told you. Now, this is where your glue stick comes in, because we're going to do, as I said, this one's going to be a little more difficult, but it's really not that bad. So we're just going to cut. All right. Almost there. Almost there. Now, when we get to the end of this, you need to find your glue stick. Find your glue stick. When you see this, you're going to say, wow, I had no idea. I had no idea making flowers were so simple. Now, you don't have to worry. Well, you probably will still worry about your garden, but at least you could have a little bit of spring inside your home right away. All right, so we're going to fold this out, and then we're going to flip it over. Then we're going to glue one of the edges, okay? And put a decent amount of glue on there. Put a decent amount. And then what you do is you flip it over and make sure it's sealed well. So here we go. A little bit different from the last one, right? All right. Now, here's the fun part. Get that tape. Here is your stem. And instead of putting it on a tilt, but you can do a tilt if you want. But if you want it to look like the straight standing flower, you're going to tape it straight up, upwards. Okay. Make sure the tape is stuck. And then again, all you do is roll. But instead of rolling downward, you want to just roll straight across. Now, what I've been doing, because sometimes it might get out of hand, you know, and the children are getting a little disappointed, like, oh, it's falling apart. So what I do in the middle of that, I just stick another little piece of tape, and I'll kind of hold it together until we get to the end. And look at that. Then you want to gather it at the bottom because it's going to be thicker at this point because you gathered all that paper together at the top. And then you're going to want to tape. Now tape one piece across like that. Another one if you think it's necessary. And then get a longer piece of tape and tape it across the bottom because it could be sneaky on you and try to slide out, okay? And again, as I said before, you can add your, you could add some leaves, cut out a few leaves. In fact, I can show you that too. So we'll do that. Just a little bit, maybe a little more than an inch. And you just kind of make little funny little cuts. Okay, and once you do that, which again, this part is nice and simple. More tape, gotta love that tape. Kids just love tape, they really do. And you tape around the bottom. Get your tape. Tape it around the bottom. Spin that around. That's it. And then add more tape. And then once you do that, I'm going to add this tape here. Again, maybe want to add one more piece around the bottom just to make sure it stays in place. And then what you could do, just to make sure that it's looking like a flower, you could just kind of pull a little bit on those edges. And there you go. Beautiful. And then if you want to get really creative, you can put it in a real vase, or you can make a vase. We've been making vases out of the duct tape rolls, stacking two together, wrapping duct tape around it, some colorful duct tape, and putting the flowers right in. But I didn't have any of those duct tape rolls today, so I actually put it in a real vase. So I hope that you give this a try. It's so much fun. And you could even scent it. You could put some scent on it to make it smell like a flower if you would like. But there's so many possibilities with this. And I know that you will enjoy it. Put in the comments if you try this. Let me know if it was difficult, if it was easy, what else we could do to make it even more fun. I'm very excited to find out what you have to say. Thank you so much for joining me. When I see you next week, it's going to be Good Friday. So I wonder what we should do. I don't know. I have a whole week to think about it. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you again real soon. Have a great weekend. Bye.